In 1930, there was a major breakthrough, and it was a breakthrough in thinking. Flying was seen as a luxury and a temporary experience, and aviation was still in its infancy. However, one particular aircraft was the symbol of a new era and a marvel of engineering. The Douglas DC-3 was not just an aircraft, it was the foundation of modern aviation. Without this aircraft, air travel might not have become as popular and accessible as it is today. The history of the DC-3 is intertwined with the golden age of American aviation, the bold plans of the Douglas Aircraft Company, and the challenging economic conditions of the time. Technically and financially, this twin-engine, propeller-driven aircraft revolutionized aviation with its first flight in 1935. The same issue had been plaguing airlines for years. Passenger flights were more expensive. Since ticket sales did not cover operational costs, airlines had to transport mail. The DC-3 changed all that. It was the first passenger aircraft capable of generating profit from mail transport. This marked a breakthrough that made air travel accessible to the general public. Technically, the DC-3 was an improved version of the DC-2 model. However, these were not minor improvements, but revolutionary changes. With a wider cabin, a capacity of 21 to 32 passengers, a range of over 1,500 kilometers, and a cruising speed of approximately 300 kilometers per hour, it was far ahead of its time. Its monocoque aluminum alloy fuselage, cantilever wings, and robust landing gear made it both strong and aerodynamic. However, what truly made the DC-3 immortal was not just its technical specifications. What truly set it apart was its reliability. Over the years, it flew over mountains, deserts, tropical regions, and harsh climates, transporting military personnel, civilians, and humanitarian aid supplies. During World War II, when the C-47 was used as the Sky Train, it was no longer just a passenger aircraft. It had become a logistical legend. The C-47 Sky Train, derived from the civilian DC-3, formed the backbone of Allied forces when World War II broke out. Known as the Dakota in the UK, this military model was used in nearly every theater of war, from the Pacific Islands to the Chinese mountains, from North Africa to the heart of Europe. It transported not just tanks, but also paratroopers, ammunition, fuel, food, and hope, the war materials that determined the outcome of the conflict. On the eve of the Normandy landings, the sky was filled with thousands of C-47s. The same aircraft often formed the silhouettes of soldiers jumping out of planes with parachutes. Known as the workhorse of the sky because it was always ready when needed, it could land on bombed-out runways and fly over tanks stuck in mud. It did not require a runway, hangar, or special infrastructure. It could land on flat open areas in villages, even on short dirt runways. After the war, these aircraft were once again used for passengers. Hundreds of aircraft resumed operations in remote regions of Europe, Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. Some carried mail, some cargo, and some passengers. Some flew over the Himalayas. Others dropped water on forest fires. Some even served in the Arctic. The DC-3 was designed to operate in any environment, so it was not only durable. Over time, the DC-3 gradually faded into the background in the face of the allure of the jet age. However, this old bird did not retire. Instead, some were modernized with digital cockpits, turboprop engines, and reinforced landing gear. Especially in isolated and underdeveloped regions, there was no other aircraft like the DC-3, so people couldn't fly anywhere else. Today, it still flies over Alaska's vast tundras, Colombia's mountain villages, and Africa's rural areas. These aircraft are still in service and are experienced veterans, so they are not classic in the sense that classic car enthusiasts use the term. To prepare their DC-3s for 21st century missions, some airlines have equipped these aircraft with digital displays, GPS navigation, and modern radar systems. These modernized versions, known as turbine DC-3s, continue to be used for cargo transport, relief efforts, and vital missions. When you step into a DC-3 cockpit today, you are left speechless, as if you had seen a ghost. The vibration of the metal fuselage, the roar of the engines, and the mechanical clicks of the gauges remind you of the true meaning of flight. Each aircraft is like a flying history book, with the stories of what they have seen, carried, and survived. The aircraft that modernized the skies was the Douglas DC-3. It transformed aviation from a high-level sport into a mass transportation option. It flew millions of kilometers, served in times of peace and war, and saved countless lives. It may not have jet engines or supersonic speed, but its achievements were characterized not by technological advancements, but by courage, engineering, and a vision that withstood the test of time. The DC-3s on display in museums today are not just metal objects. They are aircraft that teach us about determination, reliability, and simplicity. Are they still flying? They are truly miracles, because the fact that an aircraft nearly 90 years old is still in use is a testament to both engineering engineering skill, and a timeless ideal. The DC-3 was more than just an aircraft. It was a symbol that evoked a particular era in history. Its propellers not only stirred the air, but also turned the pages of history. By connecting continents as well as minds, it laid the foundations for modern air travel. It made it possible for people to wake up in another city and have breakfast there. The world grew smaller, distances shrank, and time began to shrink or expand. However, the DC-3's greatest achievement was not technological, but human-centric. It was flexible, durable, easy to maintain, and user-friendly. Pilots loved it because it inspired confidence. Mechanics loved it because it could be repaired. Passengers loved it because it sped up travel. Everyone, including cargo operators, commercial airlines, and the Air Force, wanted to work with it. The DC-3 worked for everyone. Perhaps most importantly, flying the DC-3 was not just about getting from one place to another. It was about its versatility. It was more than just a mode of transportation. It represented simplicity and faith in the sky. It offered something more mechanical, realistic, and human than the digital complexity of modern jets. In this sense, its connection with people made it more than just an engineering achievement. It became an important global symbol. Today, the DC-3 is one of the few aircraft still in active service. Some still start their engines at the end of the runway, spin their propellers, and take to the skies, but hundreds now rest peacefully in museums. These aircraft are not just means of transportation. They are like the fathers of flying relics. A DC-3 is transporting scientific equipment to Canada's northern Arctic regions. Another is delivering supplies to mountain villages in South America. Or a Dakota is providing medical aid in Africa. The same question arises with every flight. Why is the DC-3 still preferred? Because it is effective, everywhere, under any conditions. Despite their advanced nature, modern aviation systems cannot always provide all the answers. And that's where the DC-3 comes in. It is not overly reliant on contemporary software, electronic systems, or digital complexity. Therefore, it remains a reliable choice in areas with weak infrastructure and challenging weather conditions. Additionally, many historical flight organizations and aviation museums strive to keep DC-3s operational and preserved. This is not just about nostalgia. It is a responsibility to preserve historical heritage. Flying a DC-3 teaches young pilots more than just the basics of aviation. The aircraft's analog structure has managed to bring back the feelings of the past to the world and to us. Therefore, the DC-3 continues to fly not only in the sky, but also in people's hearts. The inevitable question arises, is the DC-3 still in operation today? In some countries, it is still in use 80 years later. It is not only in museums, but also performing real tasks on real runways. What does this mean? The longevity of aircraft alone cannot explain this. It is a concept that has endured over time, not just success, but a major leap forward. From the DC-3, we learned what is truly important in air travel: adaptability, ease of maintenance, durability, simplicity, and reliability. These principles continue to form the foundation of today's most advanced aircraft. However, aviation is evolving. The 1935 DC-3 did not have artificial intelligence-controlled flight systems, electric propulsion systems, or hydrogen-powered engines. Ironically, some of these developments aim to preserve the essence of the DC-3, to make flights easier and simpler. Today's redesigned modern aircraft, such as the Sky Courier, Cessna 408, and even some cargo drones, clearly draw inspiration from the DC-3. Features like twin engines, short takeoff distance, high payload capacity, and the ability to operate in challenging environments are no coincidence. And who knows? The DC-3 name may not be explicitly used in the future, but its core principles will be incorporated into tail logos, carbon fiber frames, and lines of code. Its simplicity will influence tomorrow's sophisticated flying machines. As aviation undergoes major revolutions and moves towards zero emissions and pilotless flight, someone might pause and say, yes, these are incredible. However, that small twin-engine aircraft, once known as the Dakota, was the first step. Will aviation's future be shaped by the timeless spirit of the DC-3? Or will we eventually forget this charming simplicity due to the complexity of modern technology? Press the subscribe button to learn more.